Hi guys, this is MicheleMarieDalene, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a big live on you. Because I wanted to talk to you about BNC connectors. I said I wanted this from a long time. I got 3 styles, and I'm the 2 of which are multiple parts, and I don't want to lose them. They don't come in plastic bags. The first one here is a twist-on BNC connector. The second connector, which I have in my hand, is the original traditional 3-part. I'm sorry, it's a 2-part. I'll get that in a second. And there we go. The traditional 3-part BNC connector. It has a ferrule, a little brass pin, and you can't really see it. So where's it? There it is. Can't really see it. It's right next to the ferrule. Okay, and right there, you can see there. Okay, and I'm going to show you and talk about briefly about why you use those 3 kinds of connectors and what the purposes are. I make a lot of video cables, and this one here is the BNC cable with standard. I think my lens is dirty. Oh, wait, oh yeah, it is definitely dirty. So let me clean this real quick here. It's hard enough to. I don't need to fuck up my contrast. Alright, so that's better. Now, the reason we would use these different connectors, let me just bring this down. That's better. Audio video cables, a lot of times, this is the standard for broadcasters and analog media for a long time. And they go onto things like video cameras, SDI, which stands for serialized digital interface devices as well, such as cinema projectors, digital cinema projectors and stuff. This is a right angle plug version. And the reason you do your right angle plug is if you want to save the cable from damage. Unlike the other 2, this is reusable connector, so you can reuse this again. You can just take it off and put on a new cable. On the other end of the cable, we have another, well, this is a F connector, but I'm going to use it as an example because they do make a BNC connector like this. I don't have a compression fitting for the BNC versions of this, or the F connector for that matter. And those kind of BNC connectors use a completely different strategy. But what we're going to do for this demo is we're going to apply these new connectors. We're going to start with, there are people, we're going to start by getting the end of this off. Buy FF connector. You can buy, they do make twist on F connectors as well. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to put on, I already put on this kind of connector here, and so I already can show you how easy that is to do. I want to try the 2-piece. That's this one I have in my hand. That's the 3-piece. There we go. This is a 2-piece. And I'm going to try putting this on. I've never done these before. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have to prep the cable to do that. And not having a nice board, and I didn't want to ruin my kitchen table by stubbing these wires. Okay. Let's see. And I want to leave the insulation on if I can, because this will make it a lot easier for feeding out. I'm just try an experiment here. Okay, so I'm gonna strip this insulation back, and you'll see that the biggest problem with these cables, I get so much RG6 cable. It's hilarious how much I get. My landlord is anti-satellite TV, and so he throws out a tremendous amount of satellite cables every day. And so instead of throwing precious copper and cables in this trash, I like to recycle them. And so I decided to use these connectors. I never worked with this one before. The other ones I worked off camera. So let me see if I can get the sleeve on. I should probably strip the ferrule ahead of time. Okay, now I want to try to leave. I'm going to try to spread out the braid as much as I can. I don't know if you can see that there. Okay, I'm going to try to spread the braid as much as I can. Now, it looks like the next thing to do is to take a pair of strips, is prep it like this. Okay, and now you take the plug of this kind, and it's kind of a hybrid because it's kind of like, you can see, I'm just trying to put this in here. You can see how that goes on like that. Okay, now it looks like I should be able to take this connector and the sleeve. I don't know if this is right. I'm gonna try it. No, definitely not. Okay, it's too big. It's too big. Okay, so what we're gonna do is let me carefully remove this outer sleeve, but I gotta make sure not to cut all the copper aluminium. So I guess that was, like I said, this is all new to me. I never worked with these kind of connectors before, so this is gonna be an exercise. Let's see. Oh. I don't get any blood. I don't like Clive. I don't cut towards my fingers. I tend to cut away from them because the BNC connectors, as I said, are used in a lot of audio-video gear, especially for professional prosumer gear. You'll see them as well, as in, of course, CCTV cameras. Now, looks like you mentioned about careless whiskers. The last thing I want to get in here is careless whiskers. So, unfortunately, you can test this ahead of time. So, okay, plug this in. Okay, and then you just gently push this up like that. Okay, that's what it would look like when it's finished, and then you crimp it. But before I do that, I want to make an interconnect. So, let me go get my meter, and we'll buzz it and see if it works. I get so much of these wires, it's ridiculous, from being in satellite dish installations. So, okay, continuity. Yeah, I know. It's an old, crufty, battered, beat up, trashed meter. Oh, it works. Okay. So now I'm just going to test the center conductor and the braid. Make sure there's no careless whiskers. Looks good. Now, I do have a crimper tool, but unfortunately enough, it's designed for a different kind of connector, and so it's not going to crimp it really as tight as I'd like, and it's not tight. You get the idea though. As you can see, it's got the hex ring on it. It's still too loose though. I can feel it's too loose as a goose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the one for the I'm going to use one for the RG58 section. Okay. Okay, much better. See now? Much tighter connector fit. Now, I didn't crimp this outermost ferrule down here. I'm going to do that too, because that'll help to secure the wire, because these wires can take a really bad pounding over the years. So, okay, so I'm going to try to line up the. Okay. And then you see it's attached, and it's pretty secure, and it's pretty much smack dab against the ferrule like you want. One of the things I've noticed with this kind of connector, especially, is that it's a lot easier to put on than the other ones I put on, which is pretty much a one-time connector. I'm going to just test continuity on these pins again. Make sure that everything buzzes fine in the meter, because this is the first time. I want to make sure that we don't have any That's embarrassments. Okay, looks good. I'm gonna braid. I'm gonna beat the shield. Okay. So you can see that it goes on the cable pretty good, nice and tight, nice and snug, really easy. This is a two-part job. Some of you might go, well, gee, that's really nice, but you know, you're not supposed to crimp it that way. Don't judge me, okay? So at least I got the tool to do it. All right. Some people actually just use a pair of pliers. All right, so let's do the other end. So now we figured out the magic to this connector business, okay? Now, when I do, let's see if we can see right here. Okay. I never did this on camera before. Okay. So, that actually didn't do too good. It didn't come off. Okay. The problem with this is it's got aluminum braid on it, and that stuff is like almost really. It used to be originally coaxial connectors. Used to have copper. This doesn't have copper. So this is what it looks like so far. Okay, you can see that the braid is gonna have to fold it back a bit because you're gonna work with this braid. So you're gonna pull this back. Okay. And you have a nice center conductor. Okay. And you got your foil and innards. And by the way, I don't know. Somebody said to me that this inner conductor is steel or copper clad steel. I don't know if it is or not. So now I'm going to go ahead and take. I'm going to show you this on camera here. What I do. Okay. Got a lot more length than I need, but I can fix that. Because you remember you got this other situation here, the center contact has to go back. But I forgot to put the sleeve over ahead of time, so I'm going to have to put the sleeve on first. So let me do that. Let me get another connector out of the back. I've waited for days to get these because I wanted to try these connectors. Let's see, these ones. As I said, there's two pieces to this. Okay. And by the way, if you've got any old abandoned coaxial cables in your home that you want to use for CCTV cameras, this is exactly what you do. They also make ones for RG59. And they do make them for RG58, which can be used, of course, for communications like CB radios and things like that. Ham radios, CB radios. So, I have to do this differently. Okay. I should have put the ferrule on first. Oh well. So I said this is the first time I dealt with these kind of connectors before. So, okay. So now you can see we got still too much insulation on here. We got to bring this back a bit. So let me do that. I can see it better what I'm looking at here. Toolless? No. Okay. That looks good. Now, the last piece. You slip this barrel on here. And then you push these wires up like this. Okay. And then you slide the ferrule on top. And if you really are truly concerned about shorts, this would be the time to test it before you crimp it, because there should be enough electrical continuity that you can actually test it. Because once you crimp it, it's on for good. You're not going to come off easily. Now, if you ever get any BNC connectors and you want to recycle them, you really can't do it with these because they're not recyclable. So again, let me buzz it. Make sure there's no shorts. Okay. So just take the center probe. Okay, good. Now take the other end. Make sure that test. Make sure the connections are good on both sides. Center pin and braid. Okay, center pin's good. Braid's good. Okay, now, unlike some of the early connectors, you will notice that this has this one has a reducer ring, unlike the other ones I have, which don't. So you're got some options here with this one. So I'm going to take the smaller crimp tool, which is designed for okay, see how that looks now so far? And you get a nice hex crimp. And that's not attached up here. So this part here, unless I can totally crimp this part here, this is still loose as a goose. You can't do anything with this. I mean, if you put it on now on something, it's going to come off. So I'm going to crimp it. See, technically, this is really all you should need to do. The problem is I can feel the plug is still kind of loose in that. It's not going to stay good. It's going to come off because it's not really crimped well. I'm going to go ahead and do what I just did earlier. I'm going to use the smaller connector. I know some purists just going to probably see it's not right. Well, you're not the one crimping my connectors. Okay, so the good news is that's on there for all intents and purposes permanently. That's not going to come off. I mean, not without damaging it. If you do manage to rip it out easily, if this pulls out easy, then your connector is not on tight. Okay, so I always try to test the continuity ahead of time because you want a proper impedance of 75 ohms. If you're working with RG58 for communications wire, or even old category 2 10 to Ethernet coaxial cables, you need to maintain an impedance of about 50 ohms. So, just check it one more time, make sure it looks good. Okay, so it looks good. So here is the finished ends of my cable. Okay, so these guys here are done. These are ready to go to work. Now let's talk about the crimp on one, or the screw on one. What's this mess, oh Lord? Okay. The screw on one, I'm going to do it with this end, because it's reusable. I can take it off again, so I don't have to worry about using it permanently. I'm going to do the same job, except you don't have to pull as much insulation off. Okay. I know there are coax strippers, I don't have one, so. Okay. Now, for the twist on, you gotta do the same thing. You want to save as much of the copper or the braid as you can, because it's gonna need that to make the connection. Then you got a center pin here, and so what you're gonna do the same job. You're gonna take this center pin. Okay, there you go. That's what you do. By the way, that's how you start an F connector, by the way, same way. Now, you take, let's get this meter out of the way. You take your F connector twist on, and this is toolless, except for utility knife. And you see that after I pulled the insulation back, and the pin, you want it straight, because it's going to make it easier to get in the hole. So, I'm going to straighten out the pin. Is this copper clad steel? Very likely. It feels very stiff for copper, so I think probably the answer to that is yes. Now you can see down here there's a center hole just like you saw in the other one that the pin goes into. So all you do is you place onto connector and you just twist it on. Like that, so it's snug. That's it, they're done. And why I chose the right angle ones is that if your camera is here and you don't want the wire to get, and it's a tight space, and you don't want to have the wire get twisted up or wrenched up, you want to use this, okay? So, because this is a practice lead, I'm just gonna cut this off here. This is for testing purposes to show you it works. Same test, okay? Okay, braid. Okay, center pin. Goes right into the center hole. Okay, so anyway, that's how you do. You just test it. It's just to make sure everything is electrically compliant. It was only a test piece anyway. These connectors are reusable. You can reuse these. So if you ever decide you don't need a wire afterwards, or maybe you want to replace it with twist-on F connectors, you just unscrew them, put on your twist-on F connector, or you want with a hex crimp, it slides over the wires. And then you crimp it down. You can get the kind of the threads on like this. Twist on F connectors going the same way that this does. You just place the hole like this, and you just twist it on. Okay, that's all you do. Very simple, very easy. No big deal. No muss, no fuss, no fancy pieces. I'm going to take this out. I just want to show you the connector. I have another use for that. Right now, I didn't want to do it for the demo, but that's how you do those. These bags have part numbers on them. Let's see here. This is the right angle, being BNC. Okay, so now, as I said, in professional video gear, it is common to use BNCs. Consumer gear doesn't. So you might be asking yourself, gee, that's great. You want to put this connector on cable. They all go on the same way, so it doesn't matter which one you pull up. You want to pull this on pretend this is a BNC connector. It goes on like that. Okay, so it's just spring loaded, and what it's supposed to do is it's gonna allow you to make connections. So quick on, quick off, very easy, very fast. What does BNC stand for? I don't know what the N stands for. I suspect, given its age to this connector, because it's really old school, this connector is probably stands for bayonet naval connector, because the end it would be great for a ship or anything that's a moving vehicle, because it's going to stay locked on pretty good. It's not going to come loose and vibration. It might still be an intermittent connection because there's a spring in here. Okay. There's a spring inside the connector that pushes this pin snug against the thing. You can feel the spring. And it's called bayonet because it's attached to a gun barrel, or to a connector kind of very similar to a bayonet is attached to a rifle. It just goes on like that, and it comes off the same way. In other words, you push it in, turn it, push it again, unturn it. And, okay, so let's say you got a device that has BNC connectors and you want to use regular RCA cables. Here's your answer. This is a BNC to RCA adapter. This is useful for allowing you to connect an RCA cord. So maybe you have a CCTV camera and you want to hook it up to your standard receiver. You don't want to do it with BNC plugs. These are cheap. They're not that expensive. And they're really easy to use, and they don't take a lot of work. So the great news is now, with these 2 leads I made, is I can use this. I made this cable specifically for when I wanted a shorter lead from my camera, when I'm working my studio camera on the other computer. I don't want to, sorry about that, I don't want to deal with messing with RCA plugs, because let's be honest, some RCA plugs are crap, okay? So let's check and make sure constantly, because never, and still a little bit, yeah, that makes good contact. So this plug would plug into the CCTV camera, and this plug would plug into my VCR or to my video capture card. And if I wanted to, I can get another identical adapter to this one I'm pointing to, and I can have it so I can use the BNC cable to 2 RCA plugs on each end. It'll give me a proper 75 ohm impedance, and I can be sure 99% of the time that I'm going to get a good signal out of the deal, and it's going to work great. And let me just show you something exactly how the third part works, because I'm not going to take this apart. I want to thank Big Clive for this idea. I'm going to draw this pretty big so you can see it. Okay, now, and this third connector, okay, you got your cable, okay, and here's your center connector, never mind this, and of course you got your crosshatch, your braid, okay, like this, okay, and in here you have your center pin, and it goes out like this, and it's cut to size. The ferrule connector goes on here, to this part here. I'm kind of exaggerating it, obviously, and it's crimped, and so it kind of looks like this. Oh, sorry, like this, and then this. So this is all crimped. It's got a hex crimp to it, and then it goes to a very oh, not quite that sharp. It's more like a little more rounded, but anyway. Then that goes on. Down here, the outer sleeve, you have the barrel, like I showed you, the ferrules I showed you already in the other connectors. And then this whole assembly slides in, and you pull back the shield, and let me see if I can make the circle more complete. There we go. Okay. And you want to watch out for careless whiskers. You don't want to have those, come to be a problem. So that's what you do. Thanks, Big Clive, for this idea. It's a really good idea. And then, of course, so when it's done, the finished product is like I showed you, which is laying on the floor somewhere. Maybe this is it. Nope, that's not it. I got so much coaxial cable laying around this place right now. I wouldn't be surprised if it fell off the table. Yeah. Like I said, my landlord tends to have a lot of old cable TV wires he rips out and buildings and whatever, because he's so anti-satellite dish, and I get so much of this crap cheap. It's basically dumpster fodder, but I got like 50 feet of this stuff. And let's see. I'm trying to find where I had it here. I actually need 2 of them. Okay. Well, the end, when it's finished, looks pretty much the same as that. Except it doesn't usually have a second barrel wrapping. But I don't know where the other one went to. So that's pretty much it, and that's how it goes on. as long as everything is right, you have no careless whiskers hanging in here and causing it to short against the center contact. When this is crimped on, and then this whole assembly slides into the body of the 3-part, and you fan back the braid, push it in. This pin should lock in. Then you push the braid that you push back up on top, and then you slide the ferrule on top, and you crimp it just like I showed you. And that will do is it'll make a good strong seal. I have one already made. I just don't know where it went to. Good question. Where did it go? Oh, let me find it. Oh, here we go. Okay, a little short, but actually I could always use short lines. Here we go. This is one of the earlier connectors I made. This isn't really like great. Electrically, it's fine. It's definitely a proper impedance. So again, you got the same pull in, pull out, twist on, twist off thing, and like I said, they all twist on to the connectors like this. See, and the nice thing is it makes it really great because it allows you to get a good solid connection. Not that I have anything wrong against RG59s and all that stuff. Standard RCA plugs. I don't. I use a lot of both, but a lot of my cameras use this kind of connector, and so I use this in studio. I use this kind of cable as interconnects because it's strong. This one here is a little bit dodgy because I did this one some time ago, originally as an experiment, and it's not really the best work I've ever done, but it works as long as your impedance is right, as long as your connectors look good. Because as I said, I'm not going to assemble a third one right now because these it's just more steps to do, and it's not really much different than what I've already showed you. That's the crimp on, and I'm going to clean up some of these extra stuff here. These are the easiest, the right angle twist-ons and even the straight twist-ons. I've had purists who tell me that the twist-ons are more reliable than the crimp-ons. I'm going to leave that exercise for the student to figure out because each person will use a different connector for the job. You want to make sure that the braid is connected good. And depending on what you're connecting it to, you may find that the right angle connector may be just the kind of thing to use for this. And it always helps to have a couple spares of these in your parts bin because, you know, sometimes you get connected into different things. You need to attach different things up. So, there you go. Got something new to talk about. So think about what I said, and I will see you soon, guys. Happy connecting. Bye-bye.